Hi, everyone. I am Kristen Morrison. I am the founder of Six Figure Pet Business Academy, and I'm the host of the Prosperous Pet Business Online Conference. And I am so delighted to welcome again for the second time in 2 years, Alicia Dattner. She is a comedian. She's a speaking coach. She's an incredible businesswoman who manages to juggle lots of different businesses with grace and ease. And it's just such a delight to have you here, Alicia. Thank you so much.
It's a delight to be here. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about how to have more fun in your business.
Let's have more fun.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people think, well, business fun, can I really do that? Yeah, you can. And Alicia's going to tell us how to do that. So a lot of attendees who are watching this might not consider themselves funny or even fun. And if you were talking to somebody like that, which you are right now, what would you tell them? How would you let them know that they too can experience fun in their business?
I would say, I'm sorry. It's bad for you. I guess you just won't get to hang out with all these fun people.
I know, right?
You don't get to have the fun that we're all enjoying over here in our party. Woo! No, the truth is that fun comes from inside. And when I learned that, it was a huge shift for me. I was thinking for so long that I wasn't a funny enough comedian, which is a painful thing for a comedian to think. And people can think that, I'm not a fun enough person. Well, the real truth is that when you cultivate your own sense of humor and you enjoy what makes you laugh and what makes you giggle and what makes you feel playful, then that's all that's required. That's pretty much all you need.
That is great. I love that. And, I'm thinking about pet business owners. A lot of them are, not a lot, but some of them get into the business because they don't like people, or they're shy or introverted, or, so they think, I want to be around animals. But then not realizing, wow, you got to deal with the people too. So what guidance would you give for them if they're feeling shy or introverted around their people clients?
Well, I have this great exercise that I think people could try. And, we have so much fun when we see an animal, when we come out and we play and we sort of, oh, there's a puppy. Oh, I love this puppy. This is such a great puppy. Da, da, da. And suddenly you're like a whole different person. You're alive and you're playful and you're young and, you're outgoing. You're not like, I can't, should I talk to the puppy? Should I not talk to the puppy? What's the puppy think of me? The puppy loves you, right? You love the puppy. It's not even a thing. So because, and then we anthropomorphize animals in this way where we sort of think of them as other humans that are loving to us. Well, I think you should petromorphize humans in the same way and just try it as an experiment. You could experience yourself as a really outgoing person if you just thought, oh, look at Kristen, look at that pet business owner, telesummit leader. Look at she's just a good golden retriever there. How are you, Kristen, with your pretty hair? Yes, you are. And you could just imagine yourself maybe even on the inside as an inner dialogue of this sort of absurd exercise. And find yourself in a completely different experience.
Wow.
Could shift things. You could relate to people in a whole other way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And, going into thinking about an unhappy client or a really crabby client or a really, somebody who's just hard to please, you could think about them like a big old Great Pyrenees, soft on the inside, maybe looks a little bit intense on the outside, like that. And that could really shift the way you look at that client.
Definitely. If you just even told yourself, oh, look at this. Oh, this puppy is so old and tired, and this tired dog just needs some love. You could have a whole other experience of that person. Totally.
Yeah, that is just great. Do you have any other ways that pet business owners can kind of lighten up if they're dealing with a really challenging client?
Yeah, I like to think of people as challenging clients as uh, people who have a lot of longing for love and who are just kind of not getting it in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think of that part of myself,
Mm-hmm.
those places where, gosh, I just want it to be different. And then I start to have more compassion for that person, and I start to have more ease and kind of lightness about who they are. And then I love that part of myself even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also like to just sort of distance myself a little bit and detach and go, oh, this person, noticing that they're just never going to be happy or satisfied with what I do, I'm going to just try to do what feels in integrity for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, wow, I took their dog for a really great walk today, and I appreciate that about myself. And I appreciated their puppy, and I enjoyed the time together, and I fed them really great food, and we played together, and just like to sort of give myself the satisfaction and the appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when I do that, I appreciate myself for what I think that they should be appreciating me for. Things start to shift.
Mm-hmm. I love that idea. And, I think it's really powerful to look at people who, well, what I've told myself when I'm dealing with somebody that's really difficult is that's the person who is wanting the most love. They're just not able to show it. Because it's true. And I think when I'm being kind of challenging, it's when I really want a lot of love, and I'm just not able to, it's when I'm in those moments that I especially want it, and I'm not able to articulate it or experience it in my life. And
yeah, and if there's a way that that you can actually love that person in a professional sort of context, but really to just sort of kind of collect and hear all of their and then just find some way to actually just express as if you were saying, you know what, I love you.
uh-huh.
You are loved, but in some way where, like, I don't know, thank you for that invoice, or whatever that is. If you can express, I love you.
Uh-huh. And not saying that, of
Not
course.
saying that actually, no, but like, but with your heart, and
Yeah.
say some other words with your voice. It completely shifts people's experience, and they had no idea that all they wanted was love.
That is
And
beautiful.
yeah, it's amazing. It melts people.
Yeah, it does. And I think just appreciating them in some way, like you were talking about the invoice, or, I really appreciate how you pay on time every month. That is really wonderful for me. It really helps, something, because we can find something to appreciate about even the worst people, the most challenging people. Do you know?
True.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking about, I've heard from a lot of pet business owners who have gotten really upset and depressed about getting a negative Yelp review or some kind of review. A lot of people, I think, that go into the pet business industry are very sensitive souls. I know I am. And it can be really painful when you're putting yourself out there as a business owner and you get a negative review for all the world to see. How have you experienced that in your life, and how have you dealt with that in your life to bring some kind of lightness into the experience, which can be kind of dark and challenging?
I usually just find something to punch.
Yeah. Seriously, that's important, I think, to get it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's really important to honor all of the parts of ourselves and to not skip over and just try to be cheery about it, because that's, one of my favorite teachers, Pema Chodron, says that's Barbie dolling. She talks about Barbie dolling. Oh, it's just great. It's just all good. So to really have genuine lightness and in your life, it's really important to not skip any of the steps. So the first thing I like to do is just feel and be upset. And then I like to reach out to someone and get some perspective. Might make a phone call and say, wow, this thing happened. And what do you think? Is this true? And then I look at any of those parts of me where it might be true and see if there's anything I can shore up. And then I would definitely go on Yelp and I would write something that is very authentic and kind to the person, and also sort of sharing with the public how it's perhaps not quite as accurate, but in a really gentle way. That their review is, maybe I understand what you're saying, and this is actually our policy, or whatever you want to communicate in a way that doesn't sort of attack somebody back. And then I love, from that place, after kind of taking care of the logistics, to just be really absurd and silly about it, and to make fun of all of the fears and upsets that I might have. So, oh my God, nobody's gonna want to work with me ever again. Oh, that's really, really true. Come on, and sort of just like exaggerate and make fun of all of my reactions and try to laugh about it, actually, and just to try to get perspective by laughing. And literally, when we laugh, our body has a physiological response that is an adaptogen. We release endorphins, we lower cortisol. Our brain, in the 5 seconds after we laugh, actually returns to the elasticity that we had when we were 5.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we actually just get to reset everything. So the more that you can kind of think and contemplate and be in that space of thinking about the thing that was painful or challenging that happened, and bring laughter into that moment and that space, the more you can just open it up and let it go. And then you realize, oh, you know what? It's not probably the end of the world.
It's funny how, a lot of people go to the end of the world. They catastrophize it. I know when I'm working with pet business owners, a lot of them, if they get a negative review or something challenging happens in their business, where they go is, I'm going to be a bag lady on the street. It's immediate. It's just an immediate down slope.
Yes.
Bottom of the barrel.
We don't have a gradient for bad. We just go boop.
Yeah.
Down there.
We're down. And oftentimes it takes a while to get back up, right? And I call it
that. It's so funny. It's like we go boop, 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 and then we got to go boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, but I think there is that moment. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What was that?
I interrupted you.
No, I did.
Laughter for.
Well, when I'm talking to business owners who are experiencing some challenges and they're swirling, I can see them swirling, I can hear them swirling, and I call it the toilet bowl flush, and it's almost about to happen. Yes. Where once you flush that toilet, you have an opportunity. but if you wait too long, it's a really gross analogy, and I apologize to anybody. But once it flushes, it's swirling. And so before you flush, which is the spin that happens in our head, and what would you do? What would you recommend before the spinning happens in the mind?
So I love to just literally write out, what are the things that I think are happening? What are my fears? What am I angry about? What am I what do I think could happen to me? And then I actually go through each one, and I say, is this actually the case?
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually take it to the absurdist eventuality, and then I actually make jokes about it. So you could, in fact, also just laugh at whatever you think you know, am I going to be a bag lady in the street? And then laugh about that. Like, oh, I'm gonna have polka dotted. I'm gonna have a polka dotted moo and I'm gonna be missing my front teeth, and I'm gonna have holes in my shoes and holes in my socks, and I'm gonna be whistling a railroad song. And then I kind of just look at how ridiculous that is, and then I look at the life that I've built,
Mm-hmm.
and I see actually probably not the case.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. So what about when pet business owners are feeling really cranky, they don't want to work, they're feeling annoyed, they're tired? How can they have more fun in their business?
I think it's really good to do the things that already bring you joy. And so when we get really cranky and tired, it's like that part of us saying, I'm not getting what I need. There's something missing here. And the first thing I would do is go right to your pets and actually have some fun with your pets, and really focus on, get out in nature and talk to that cat and say, Kitty, literally have a dialogue with the pets and say, I'd like this business to be more fun. Can you remind me why I'm doing it? Can you know, and have conversations that bring you back to what is the original purpose and goal, and what made you happy about doing it in the first place. And really not try to force yourself to go back to some administrative thing in that moment, but really resource yourself, come back to the lightness and the playfulness. And then there ends up being more space when you come back to the other stuff. And then maybe there's something that you get clarity about, like, wow, I really need help with advertising. Maybe there's some piece that's calling out to be, maybe I need a coach, you know, maybe I need someone to work with me to help me look at my goals or what I want for my income. And there's usually a part of you that's calling out for support. And the more that you can get a little perspective and space on it, the easier that can be.
I like that you bring up support, because I think when people are feeling really burned out, when they're feeling cranky, they're feeling unsupported in a way. There's some part of them or some aspect of their business that isn't feeling supported. And so I think it's really important to look at that. And, you know, when I've had some of my coaching clients delegate those tasks that are really annoying to them, they experience more lightness, more freedom. You know, they're not doing something that doesn't bring them joy anymore. Yeah. And for me, one of those things was, I remember every month I would have to do the dog walk billing, and I would be like, oh, I hate this. It's so annoying. And it would take me hours and hours because I wasn't passionate about it. You know, it wasn't something that I enjoyed. And so I delegated it to one of my managers, and she did a great job. She loved doing it. And I had that time to get to work on something that I enjoyed. So it's just so important to delegate those tasks that really bring you down. If you can, you know, a lot of people can't.
And some people who can't, you know, one thing I love to do is co-working. So when I just, there's something that I just have to get done and I really can't delegate it, I'll just invite a friend over and I'll say, or let's go to a cafe and let's work together for the day. And just like make it fun for each other, where I'm with a friend that I like being with and we both get to say, oh my gosh, I've got to get this thing done. And then we check in with each other and then we'll laugh in between typing and it's a whole other experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that too. I have somebody that I meet with on a monthly basis and we do our numbers together and our administrative tasks. And it's just, it makes it so much more fun and enjoyable. And it gets done in a fun way. So I think that's a great point, Alicia. And some pet business owners get into magical thinking about their business. They think, oh, success is just going to happen to me. And I'm wondering, how can pet business owners move beyond magical thinking and into inspired action using humor and lightness? How can they do that?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think that when we have a vision for our life and we create some of that and we start to see the fruits of our labors, we get really excited. And there's a way where sometimes we can sort of inflate into this magical thinking place of well, it's all just going to work out really beautifully, and then something comes along and pops that bubble. And it's important to actually pop your own bubble in a way, and to say, like, okay, what is really realistic, and to sit down with what your vision is, rather than just sort of fantasizing about it in your head, like to actually sit down, to be with, where do you want to be in X amount of time? Where do I want to be in 1 year? What do I want it to look like? And then to actually have a reality check with other people and to say, does this seem, with people who are excited about what you are excited about and who believe in you and support you, and to maybe make a little bit of a reach, not something that is completely unrealistic, but to really write it down on paper. They say that when we write our goals down, we're something like twice as likely to achieve them as when we just sort of think. So that's already a big leap forward. And then I like to just look at each of my goals and find something fun and playful about, like, imagining how I'm going to get that done. And when there are times where I've been sort of in a magical thinking kind of place, and I can again take that to an absurd level of reality, there's a lot more fun there. Like when I'm popping my own bubble, and then so I will just look and say, okay, I'm going to be on HBO in 6 months, and that's maybe slightly unrealistic. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years could be a possibility. And then I like to just sort of make fun of myself and just go, oh, Alicia, this is a kind of a sweet and silly goal that you have. And you notice that you haven't really directed and organized your life such that that's going to happen right now. And then I look at, oh, how do I want to organize my life? What do I want to organize my life around? And then from that place, once I've created and written down realistic, beautiful goals that make me happy having them, then I like to actually just take one simple action right when I've written that. And then every single day I take one solid, clear action. And then I like to also just practice just bringing literally laughter into all of those areas, because of the physical experience of my brain chemistry altering when I am laughing. It just makes it superpowers everything.
It's great. And okay, so we're about to wrap up the interview, but any other tips that you have for pet business owners out there that can help them get lighter, freer, create more ease and fun?
I like when I wake up in the morning, I think what would be hilarious is if I imagined myself as my favorite pet. And just like, I just woke up and what would my favorite pet do this morning? You know, just would I stretch out? Would I roll around on the floor? Would I lay in the sun? Would I lap up some milk? Like, what would be, if I were my favorite pet, how would I be? And I think that, you know, pets are so in the moment and so present, and they're not thinking about how things are going. They're pretty much just, they're like, is there food? Is there petting? How is this, you know, and what position would I like my body to be in right now? And I think it's just such a freeing way to be. And if you can really kind of get into the embodied experience of a pet, you can actually experience what they're experiencing. And so that's my kind of like closing tip, is just really get into what would it be like if you were that animal. Have that kind of freedom.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of animal you would be. If you were an animal, oh my God, I think you'd be like a Jack Russell Terrier or something. Kind of mischievous and playful and spunky. Yeah, I think you might be a Jack Russell.
I would be just like, always like, where are you? What's going on? Hey, can we fight? You got a ball? Or is there a, I'm just gonna,
Thank you so much, Alicia, for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
It's a total pleasure. Thank you, Kristen.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.